What if paradise isn't the same across all religions? Have you ever stopped to think that the paradise you imagine might be completely different from what other religions teach? While you're dreaming of one specific place, millions of people around the world are visualizing something totally opposite. And here's the mind-blowing part. All these visions come from sacred texts that supposedly describe the same divine reward. How is that even possible? The truth is that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, three of the world's largest monotheistic religions, paint pictures of paradise ranging from lush gardens to completely abstract spiritual dimensions. And every single detail reveals not just a promise of eternity, but the deepest values of each faith. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine paradise. What do you see? White clouds and golden gates? Gardens with rivers of honey? Or maybe something beyond human comprehension? That visualization isn't random, it's been shaped by centuries of teachings, sacred scriptures, and religious traditions. And understanding these differences isn't just intellectual curiosity. It's a journey of self-discovery that helps us comprehend how each spiritual tradition views the purpose of existence, the nature of the soul, and what truly matters in this life. In Christianity, paradise is often presented as the kingdom of heaven, a place of eternal communion with God. The scriptures speak of a new Jerusalem, a celestial city described in Revelation with jasper walls, streets of pure gold, and 12 gates made of giant pearls. But it goes way beyond divine architecture. The Christian paradise is a state of complete bliss where pain, suffering, tears, and death no longer exist. It's the promise of resurrection for the righteous, where body and soul will reunite in glorified form. Paul of Tarsus described it as a place where we'll finally see God face to face, no longer through foggy mirrors, but in the fullness of divine truth. Within Christianity itself, there are fascinating nuances. Catholics believe in intermediate stages purgatory, where souls are purified before entering paradise. Protestants generally reject this idea, arguing that salvation through faith in Christ guarantees direct entry to heaven. And there are more mystical interpretations, like the Orthodox vision of theosis, a gradual transformation where the saved become increasingly similar to God, participating in His divine nature without losing their individuality. Christian paradise isn't just a destination, it's a complete transformation of being. Now think about how this vision shaped Western art, music, architecture, and even social structures for 2 millennia. Every Gothic cathedral, every Renaissance painting, every sacred hymn was an attempt to capture a glimpse of this promised paradise. And you? Have you ever wondered if your own idea of eternal happiness was influenced by these images, even if you're not Christian? Here's something that'll blow your mind even more. These aren't just ancient beliefs gathering dust in old books. These visions actively shape how billions of people make decisions today. What they consider moral, how they face death, what gives their suffering meaning. Understanding these differences isn't about picking sides. It's about recognizing the profound diversity in how humanity envisions ultimate fulfillment. If these revelations are hitting different, smash that like button and drop paradise in the comments so more people can discover these hidden truths. And subscribe to Faith Prayer to keep this spiritual discovery journey going. Why does Judaism say so little about paradise? Here's something that's going to surprise you. Judaism, the religion that gave birth to both Christianity and Islam, is incredibly discreet about paradise. While the other 2 Abrahamic religions meticulously detail the afterlife, Judaism maintains an almost mysterious silence on the subject. Why? The answer reveals a profoundly different spiritual philosophy, one that prioritizes present life over promises of future rewards. And this isn't a lack of spirituality, it's exactly the opposite. It's a spirituality so practical that it transforms every earthly action into something sacred. In traditional Jewish thought, the concept of paradise appears as Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. But it's not exactly a final destination like in Christianity. It's more like a temporary state where the souls of the righteous await future resurrection. The real reward will come in Olam Haba, the world to come, which will happen after the Messiah arrives and the dead are resurrected. But here's the fascinating detail. Jewish texts are intentionally vague about what this world will be like. The Talmud says that, in the world to come there is no eating, drinking, procreation, business, jealousy, hatred, or competition, but the righteous sit with their crowns on their heads and enjoy the splendor of the divine presence. It's an almost abstract description, right? This approach reflects something fundamental in Jewish theology. The focus is on how you live now, not on fantasies about later. Judaism teaches that each mitzvah, each commandment fulfilled, has intrinsic value in this world. The idea is that you shouldn't be good just to earn a heavenly reward, but because doing good is right in itself. It's a sophisticated spiritual ethic that places personal responsibility above the promise of rewards. Rabbi Tarfon expressed it perfectly: it is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. Within Judaism, there are mystical currents like Kabbalah that offer more elaborate visions of paradise. They speak of different spiritual levels, of higher worlds where souls ascend through divine knowledge and union with Ein Sof, the endless infinite, that is the essence of God. In these teachings, paradise isn't a physical place, but an experience of absolute proximity to the source of all creation. It's almost impossible to describe with human words, because it completely transcends our material reality. What makes this perspective even more intriguing is how it contrasts with the modern obsession with knowing exactly what comes after death. Judaism invites you to live a life so full of purpose, justice, and holiness that death becomes almost secondary. Immortality is in your actions, in the teachings you pass on, in how you treat others. This is ancient wisdom that resonates deeply even in modern times. Think about it. What if true paradise was creating meaning here and now, instead of waiting for a future reward? We're just beginning to unveil these mysteries. Drop your like and comment eternity if you want to explore these sacred differences even deeper. How does Islam describe paradise most vividly? Get ready, because now we're diving into the most vivid and sensory description of paradise that exists in any religious tradition: Islamic Jannah. If Judaism is discrete and Christianity is symbolic, Islam is extraordinarily specific. The Quran and Hadith, the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, paint such a detailed portrait of paradise that you can practically visualize every element. And this isn't coincidental. It's a deliberate spiritual strategy to make divine reward tangible and inspiring for believers. But should these descriptions be interpreted literally or symbolically? This question divides Islamic scholars to this day. In Jannah, the righteous enjoy eternal gardens where rivers of pure water, fresh milk, wine that doesn't intoxicate, and purified honey flow. Trees bear fruit permanently, without seasonality, and you can pick whatever you desire just by reaching out. Paradise inhabitants wear fine silks and are adorned with bracelets of gold and pearls, reclining on luxurious couches under perpetual shade. There's no excessive heat or cold, no diseases, aging, or any kind of suffering. It's described as a place of absolute peace, where you finally find everything you ever wanted. The Quran promises that in Jannah you'll receive what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no human heart has ever imagined. A frequently misunderstood and sometimes controversial aspect is the Huri, often translated as maidens with large eyes. Literalist interpretations have caused controversy, but contemporary scholars point out that many of these descriptions are metaphors for experiences of fulfillment that transcend known physical pleasures. The Quran also mentions that earthly spouses will be together in paradise, purified, and in perfect harmony. The real focus isn't on carnal pleasures, but on complete satisfaction of all legitimate human desires: physical, emotional, and spiritual. Islam also describes different levels in Jannah. The highest is called Firdaus, mentioned in the Quran as the garden closest to God's throne. There, prophets, martyrs, and the most virtuous reside. There's also Al-Adnan, the eternal Garden of Eden, and other levels based on actions performed in earthly life. This stratification reflects perfect divine justice. Each person is rewarded exactly according to their faith and works. No one is treated unjustly, and even the least of paradise's inhabitants experiences happiness beyond human comprehension. But here's something profound that many ignore. Above all the physical pleasures described, the Quran mentions the greatest reward of all, the beatific vision of Allah. Being in God's direct presence, knowing Him face to face, is considered the supreme experience of Jannah. This unites Islam with other Abrahamic traditions. Ultimately, paradise isn't about things or places, but about absolute proximity to the divine. It's about finally being home, complete and fulfilled in a way that our limited earthly existence can't even imagine. Like this video and drop Jannah in the comments. If this journey through sacred scriptures is expanding your spiritual vision, what if all these visions share the same truth? After exploring these three radically different visions of paradise, an inevitable question arises: can they all be right at the same time? At first glance, it seems impossible. One emphasizes abstract spiritual communion, another prioritizes present life over future speculation, and the third describes specific sensory gardens. But what if these differences weren't contradictions, but complementary facets of the same spiritual truth that our limited minds can't fully capture? This possibility opens fascinating doors for interfaith dialogue and deeper understanding of our own spirituality. All three traditions agree on fundamental points. Paradise is a reward for the righteous, involves divine presence, represents the definitive end of suffering, and offers full and meaningful existence. The differences lie more in language, cultural emphasis, and symbols used to describe something that, by definition, transcends human experience. When Christianity speaks of golden streets, Islam of honey rivers, and Judaism of divine splendor, they might all be trying to translate the same ineffable experience into terms their respective cultures can understand. Think about this. If you had to describe a color never seen to someone born blind, you'd use metaphors based on other senses: temperature, texture, sounds. Similarly, describing paradise requires that religious traditions use earthly images to point toward heavenly realities. The map isn't the territory, and the description isn't the experience. Perhaps all these visions are like people touching different parts of an elephant in the dark, each accurately describing what they perceive, but none capturing the totality of the creature. There's also a practical function to these differences. Each description of paradise reflects and reinforces its tradition's core values. Christianity emphasizes salvation through grace and personal communion with Christ. Judaism prioritizes ethical action and community responsibility in this life. Islam underscores total submission to God and obedience to His commands. Paradise visions aren't just about the future, they're mirrors reflecting what each religion considers most sacred now. They shape behaviors, inspire devotion, and give meaning to present suffering. But regardless of which tradition resonates with you, there's something universally human in the search for paradise. It's the hope that suffering isn't final, that justice will prevail, that there's something greater than ourselves, that goodness is worthwhile. It's the refusal to accept that this chaotic and often painful life is all there is. These paradise visions are more than theology, they're expressions of our deepest need for meaning, purpose, and transcendence. So maybe the question isn't which description is right, but what these visions reveal about our values, our fears, and our highest aspirations. Maybe true paradise begins when we stop judging others' spiritual paths and start living the deepest values of our own tradition, whatever it may be. Because ultimately, all these religions agree on one thing: the path to paradise is paved with compassion, justice, love, and sincere pursuit of the divine. If this content expanded your spiritual consciousness, drop your like, comment transcendence, and share this video with someone who's also seeking to understand sacred mysteries. Subscribe to Faith Prayer to keep exploring the secrets that unite and differentiate humanity's great spiritual traditions.